Welcome back to what continues to be the most frustrating start to a football manager season I have ever had. We are back with Bristol City on the verge of October today, and we have not yet won a league game, and in fact, we've not scored a league point off camera. It's the battle of the bottom two to start this one, and if we don't win it, surely we're under pressure. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 11 of Built in Bristol with me, Daniel. I've got a feeling this series is edging towards a premature conclusion because after the brilliant overachievement of last season, this has been an unmitigated disaster. 7 games in, the only point we've got in the league is the one that we picked up on camera last time. I'm hoping you'll be my lucky charm again here. We face Blackpool, who are the only side below us on goal difference. If they win this one, we're in big trouble. And we also face Coventry, who are up in second place. If you're looking forward to that, as bizarrely, we are flying in the Carabao Cup, ironically. And please do put a thumbs up on the video. We've had our fair share of injuries at times as well, and Chiquino is the latest one out. And we are now in a bit of a difficult situation because this might look like a disaster in terms of us being second bottom on 1 point, and in terms of results it is. We've been brilliant for the most part this season, and some of the games we've lost are just the FM universe turning against us. Let me show you what I mean. So you were with me last time as we played Crystal Palace, and got a 1-1 draw. Sam Surridge scored in that one, and the 3 games we've had since have been almost remarkable if I'm being honest. We played Rotherham away from home first. We went 2-0 down in 27 minutes to the only 2 shots on target we conceded in the first half. We then dominated the game in the second, got an early goal in the second half through Sam Surridge, but could not break the door down. The following game, the Huddersfield one, I mean seriously, let me have a look at the stats again. If we go through to this one, we dominated the game. 16 shots, 10 on target, 2 expected goals. It's not just that we're creating chances, it's not just that we're playing well and dominating. We're creating glorious opportunities to score. We then concede 1 shot on target in the whole game before a 91st minute penalty, which the FA remained silent over my criticism for because it clearly wasn't a penalty and it cost us another point. And then guess what? Deja vu strikes in the derby against Cardiff because not only did we lose 2-0, we missed a first half penalty from Sam Surridge. We then went into the second half, conceded a stupid goal, and then a penalty 4 minutes later, which guess what? The FA remained silent over the criticism for because it wasn't a penalty. So everything that could be is conspiring against us, apart from the Carabao Cup where we're brilliant. Anthony Knockaert scored again off the bench, and I'm very tempted to bring him in permanently now. And Sam Surridge is the other man who got the goal, a late winner for him. He has, bar that penalty against Cardiff, been very good this year, but that doesn't count for much. We've got Blackpool away today, who are bottom, and 3 home games in a row. We've got to find form. The Carabao Cup run will be over now because we've got Arsenal away next time out. So it's about finding results and finding them quickly, but I don't really know where they come from. I've even been going through the data hub and looking for things where there's big weaknesses in our game, where we're conceding chances, where we're not taking them. And I'm not learning anything. And this is the most frustrating thing for me. I've done so many guides on this channel about how to use the data hub, why you shouldn't change tactics constantly, why things have always got an answer. And I genuinely can't find the answer here. Our expected goals against is less than half what we're actually conceding. And then going forward, our data suggests we should be scoring nearly 3 times the amount of goals that we actually are. And goals from midfield are hard to come by because the wingers are unhappy. And yes, Knockaert's come in and scored a couple of pearlers in the cup, or set one up and scored one. But there's not that spark, and this is where it's difficult for me because normally you can go to that data hub, you can find an answer. And it just looks like we're unlucky. Every chance virtually against us is going in. We're getting 2 games that are settled by penalties that have gone against us that shouldn't have been penalties. And we can't score goals despite creating glorious chances game after game. I'm starting to run out of ideas. It feels like it's just one of those spells that's going to end in disaster. This is the last real chance to put it right. It's 23rd v 24th. We're both on a point. They're actually far worse going forward. They've scored just 2 goals this season in their 7 matches, but they've conceded 12, the same as us. And given the amount of chances, I think our expected goals against is 5 point something, and and our expected goals for is about 6. I mean, it really is a frustrating year. Let's get through to the fixtures. It seems like we're just having the reverse of last season where lots of tight games were won by us, and in this one we're going to be losing them all. This is the team we're going to go for though. We're going to have to make changes from the cup in midweek because again, you can see that although we're rotating a team, we're just having problems with fitness. I have made one tactical tweak for this game though, as you can see, and it is basically my last chance saloon to try and save the day. Whoever I play in the number 10 role, whether it's Scott, Bulat, Mehmeti, they're virtually always the worst player on the pitch. And Scott wasn't great last year either. So I'm going to try and go for 3 players in the centre of midfield and 2 of them really pushing on. And I'm just going to hope it does something because the rest of our game is great, but we've got to find a spark. So let me go and adjust this and get the first 11 back in. And we'll be back in a minute to run through the 11. Right, big calls across the team. In defence, we're running out of players and Cal Naismith is woefully out of form. So we're going for McCrory alongside Bajcetic today. That because of the knock to Vandenberg, Ruffin struggling as well. And Naismith wasn't even fully fit. Bulat isn't either, he drops out. Joe Williams comes in midfield, as does Masengo, who replaces Matty James. And then out wide, I've gone for it. Knockhart has been really good off the bench in the cups. I've no idea if he'll make an impact here. For him and Cornick off Sam Surridge, we're going to play narrow. We're going to keep playing the way we do. Because generally we're doing really well. But we've got to find a way to take chances and to stop goals going in. And I'm hoping that having 2 midfielders who are going to be more aggressive, try and get up from deeper positions, maybe makes it harder to track the runs and gives us 3 in the box for crosses. Let's go and get ahead to the game, see if it works out. This is the 11 in full, sorry. It is Baxter in goal, Pring and Tanner the fullbacks with Bajcetic and McCrory centre-half. Masengo, Williams and Scott, a flat midfield 3, a box-to-box, a deep liar, and then a centre midfielder on attack. And then Cornick, Knockhart and Surridge the front 3. Just wish me luck. Let's see how it goes. Away to Blackpool, the only side worse than us this season. They've scored 2 goals in 7 games. I know we had this with Swansea last year where we played the worst attack in the league and let in 3. But if it happens this time again, I think we know our days are numbered. I mean, we've got the lads inspired. They're reacting pretty well to team talks now as well. We've done a lot of work off the pitch. We've got a lot of them on board. But we are at the stage of running out of options. And soon we need to get a result. And it doesn't matter how ugly it is. Let's see how the match stats look for the first 10 minutes or so. Dominating the ball as you would expect with our midfield. But this time we're not creating any chances. So that extra man in the centre of midfield, probably going to do what I expect, which is make us a bit more solid defensively, but also harm us going forward. You can see no shots on target in half an hour. I mean, how do you judge a tactic when your team is this out of form and this lacking in confidence as the ball's up to the back post, headed away? Masengo will get there. Brings it down for Scott. I mean, what's that? You're an England under-21 international. You're worth 25 million quid. If we do make it to January, I'm selling him because he's not offering his value to this team. No matter what we wanted to do with the kid and get him to the Premier League and doing well. I mean, he's been one of the most disappointing centre midfielders I've ever had in FM. I go back, there was one I had in FM23, and it was early in the Hemel save, and he was a brilliant player on paper, but it just didn't work. We've got the same again here, as Tanner finds Williams, short pass back. Bajcetic does well, he keeps getting booked every game. Knockhart on the right finds Tanner, and it's down to Knockhart again. Can he find the cross? He does. Surridge up, doesn't even challenge for it. Headed away to Masengo, brilliant long range effort. But we're not going to get many goals from that. That's with the tactic, work ball into the box. Remember that. As we get to half time, I mean, Blackpool have offered nothing. But that doesn't mean a lot in these games, because we have had games like the Huddersfield one, where literally there was no threat on our goal, and then a dodgy penalty in the 90th minute decided it. What are we going to get out of this? Because we're looking for options in the middle, and there's nothing coming. Knockhart starts today. He's not the answer either. Alex Scott, still playing poorly. No matter what I do, this player is poor. Right, I need comment help. If you have had Alex Scott in any save in Football Manager, how on earth have you got him to play well? Because he has been, I mean this, frankly useless. A 6.5 rating this season. He was poor last year in a brilliant team. And he's even poorer this year in a pretty average one so far. I just don't know what to do with the kid because he's constantly letting this team down. I'm going to bring on Matty James for him and I'm going to switch Masengo over. See if he can offer something different in the same role. Knockhart will be replaced by Tommy Conway. And we'll switch Cornick to the right and go back to what we usually do with a winger on attack. And then in defence, I'm going to take off probably McCrory for Naismith because we need to go first choice now. And we'll save the last two a few more minutes. But it is so infuriating watching this side at the moment because, again, yes, we haven't created a huge amount, but we are the dominant side here. We've created more of the chances, we've had more of the shots, but we've not shown anything from it. As Blackpool go back to the keeper, and I don't know at this stage if it's just because we've completely run out of confidence as they get in behind with Jerry Yates. They've got two in the middle. Can we mark them this time? Up to the back post. Oh my God. I thought he'd given a penalty again. Free kick to Bristol City for offside, and thank God it was as well, because we would have been in big trouble. We have got just over 10 to go. Bajatic is really struggling now, as Jerry Yates gets it up front for Blackpool, and they're coming into this game. Left back's disappeared, it's into the shot, and Baxter makes the save. I don't know why our centre-halves are going so narrow. It's not something we've set up. We tried to be fairly narrow in attack, but defensively, we've not got a narrow defensive line or anything, so I'm not sure about that. We are going to take off Bajatic for more. And we're also going to go for Harry Cornick replaced by Sykes, I think is the better of the two. We'll bring him out on the right. 10 minutes to go, 0-0 here. I mean, this game, if we're being honest, looks like two sides who are destined for relegation. No confidence, no spirit. I mean, the great news is we've kept a clean sheet and it seems like on camera is my only chance of getting points, but it's not enough. It really isn't enough at this point, and the sacking is very much on the way. I have officially run out of ideas. I mean, look at Millwall there. Scored 2 goals all season and turn up with a 5-2 away at Coventry, who we play next. I just don't get it. Let's get through to the next game at home to Coventry and just hope there's a miracle, because I feel like I've tried everything I can now. Maybe my only option to get people like Alex Scott performing is to drop them out for a few games and say, this isn't good enough, I'm not going to keep playing you. I think that's the last throw of the dice. Let's get to the next match. Back in a moment for Coventry. It's got to be a better result. Well, it's fitness test time, and it's been the end of another very frustrating week, to be fair. For the second time in the second season, we've got scheduling issues, which include games being organised slap bang in the middle of an international break. The Preston game we've had rescheduled here has been put in the middle of the next one instead. I mean, it's mind-blowing. You can tell I'm getting a bit frustrated by this save. The other news, of course, I mentioned it was a bit ironic that it was our unhappy players who seem to keep getting injured, and Harry Cornick, well, he's decided he doesn't fancy the next 5 weeks, despite the fact he wants to be paid 25 grand a week. Giacchino is not quite back yet either, so we're a little depleted out there. We saw Knockhart wasn't going to influence league games last time as well. We're at home to Coventry today. It's a tough game on paper, but ultimately we all know what's coming, and it's that frustration of knowing that is the problem going into these games. I'm going back to the 4-2-3-1. I'm just going to stick with it because we were brilliant at home last year. Playing this way, it can't be that far off. The big problem for me is knowing that we're going to play well, we're probably going to have the better of the game, and then we're going to concede a silly goal and lose it. I'm going to put on the right-hand side Mark Sykes because he's the best option we've got. Definitely the weakness of the team as Conway comes back in, but he's another moaner at the minute. Vandenberg will come back in defence. I'm going to put him out to right back, even though Tanner played well, I think. And we're going to go back to our strongest team and actually try and get them to perform. So I set Vandenberg right back. Centre-half will be Bajatic and Naismith. Pring out on the left. Masengo and Williams, I think, will stay the midfield too. Bulat has done okay, but again, is it worth bringing him in? Maybe I'll bring him in for Alex Scott and send out a message. I think that's what we're going to do. And then Conway, Sykes and Surridge the front three. Alex Scott will make do with a place on the bench. That's what you get for playing woefully. McCrory will go on there as well. And I think the rest will stay as it is because that's about the strongest we can be. We are going to work the ball into the box, which we have been doing most games, but I took off for a bit of the last one. So let's just go and get through it. It is Bristol City v Coventry. We are still without a win this season, but our only 2 points have come with you guys watching. So let's hope the same happens again. As we go through the dressing room, it is time to prove them wrong. Get the media off your backs. Prove that you're a good side. It takes one win to change this season because the foundations are there. We're playing pretty well. if we get confidence into this side, like we seem to miraculously discover in the cup games, we could go on a big run with this team. We've got the quality there. We knew it was going to be a slower start than last year. We didn't expect it to be this slow, but we've got to find the win. And if we get one, maybe it'll start flowing. As we play at home to Coventry, the fans are generally sticking with us in fairness to them. But the first 10 minutes, look at the stats again. The better side, the early chances, lots of the ball. When's it going to come crashing down? Blackpool are 1-0 up away from home at Millwall, so they are currently taking us to the bottom of the table. And look at the stats again. It's the same old thing. And I don't know why the expected goals isn't great this time. We're not creating good chances by the looks of it. It's going to be another frustrating day, isn't it? I mean, you look at the stats here at the bottom and the player ratings. Our two wingers are two of the best rated players. Our right back as well. It suggests that we're getting the ball in the box. We've got over half an expected goal, but we're seeing nothing. And you can see at half time when we get there, there's nerves, there's apprehension, there's frustration, and there's no reaction to it. And if we lose Sam Surridge's goal threat, which has been the constant so far this season, it will be a big problem for us. We're now 12 league games without a victory, stretching back to the playoffs last year. And in those 12 games, we've only lost one by more than one. And that was that Cardiff game with the penalty. As Bajcetic in from a set piece and a header straight at Wilson. I mean, if you look at our tactic now, it's actually very similar to what we're playing in a distillery save. And the signs of the football are there. But it's just not knitting together. And maybe the weaknesses are showing. As we switch to play to Vandenberg, we are piling forward here. What's that through ball? What are you trying to achieve there? Give the ball simple and get in the box as Naismith picks it up. He carries the ball forward to Conway. That's better. Conway then turns back to Pring. It's the safest, the easy option. Masengo to Bellet. Gets it up to Surridge. Conway puts it over. Not a great chance again. And considering we're working the ball into the box, we're trying to play the Hollywood ball and shoot from distance. It's going to be another one of those. I mean, 2-0 nils would be progress, particularly defensively. And again, it's that number 10 that's not performing. Do we physically have to instruct the game to be played through him? Because I don't see how else we get anything out of him. Nothing else has changed. This is now last year's tactic. And it's just not leading to anything. I'm going to bring on Matty James for Masengo because he's the experienced option back there. Conway's coming off because he doesn't want to be at the club, so get him off the football pitch. We'll bring on Benarouz as a winger. We're also going to go for Naismith again, the worst performer at the club. I'm going to bring on Ross McCrory, I think. 4 changes made. We've got 25 minutes to go. It's another dominant display with no ending to it. And no final product. So Scott chest down for James and Surridge. Are we going to get an Alex Scott that's proving a point here? He's not even making those runs in behind now, which he was last season, despite the same tactical game plan. As James gets the ball to Bajcetic. He goes wide of Vandenberg, who carries it forward. Been a nightmare for the Liverpool Oni so far. Sykes is down the line, but he cuts back and takes the safe option. This is a team lacking in confidence as Williams brought down. And now, this looks like a bad thing for us because now Coventry are down to 10 and they're just going to sit everyone behind the ball. What can we do at this point? I'm going to bring Tanner on for Vandenberg, try and get a fitter, more aggressive attacking fullback on. And just try and do something different. We're going to encourage the lads. We're going to go attacking. Can we find a goal? It's Coventry with a throw at right back. Do not rule out us conceding yet. We might well find a way. As Darboe picks it up in the middle, finds Mundell. Through ball is poor. McCrory intercepts. Carries it into midfield and wide to Tanner. He's got space to pile forward. Will he find the option? Yes, he does. Chips over to Sykes. 2 in the middle. Surridge is 1. Oh, he's headed it over the bar from 4 yards. You're not going to get better chances than that. James has got the corner. Bajcetic is up. Loses it. It's away to Benarouz. Scott with a big switch to James again. It's a bit optimistic as Pring. Nice short football that. Gets the ball out to the left. I'm being sarcastic as we get to the byline. Into the keeper, who's made an absolute howler of it. And Sam Surridge puts it in from a yard. He pokes it home for 1-0. This could be the moment. We were celebrating, pushing for promotion last season. And now, 1-0 at home to 10 men that got battered 5-2 at home at the weekend. We might finally win a game this season, but it's what it could do. Oh, not from the kickoff. Don't concede now. No one's up there. Baxter gets it and we push forward again. Please don't let us throw this away, because I genuinely feel a win could change everything. And it would be 3 games unbeaten in all competitions too. The signs of something to come, as Belarus gives it to Pring. Carries it down the left, he has support. Will he find it? He goes alone. Great run from Pring. Options in the middle. Sykes is one of them. We've only gone and won a bloody football game. It's taken long enough. It's been a dismal start to the season. But Bristol City are off the mark. And this could change everything. Blackpool are still winning, but we'll have the better goal difference. And now we can start to look up finally. Oh no. Mark Sykes gives the ball away. It's those moments of carelessness. Mundell gets it wide to Darboe. Into Tavares. Chance to shoot. You all said without the ball, if you play gegenpress, you're always going to win. Tell you what, it's not been that way this year. 2 and a bit expected goals, and finally 2 goals to go alongside it. Belarus made an impact off the bench. Alex Scott still did not. But we have won by 2-0. Bristol City have won a league game this season for the first time at the 9th attempt. Now let's have a look at the table for where that leaves us and what on earth we're going to do moving forward. We're on to 5 points, 12 off the playoffs and none off the bottom of the table. We're maybe looking the wrong way for now. But please let that have an effect on the confidence. What has it done for morale? First winning 13 matches is going to make a huge impact. Maybe we can turn this round yet. The club atmosphere back up to average. The morale in the club, how's it looking? Yeah, a bit better for the starters. And now we've got another home game, albeit a tough one. But it is a chance for us to push on. This could be the turning point for our season. It could also be a flash in the pan and go back to normal next time. We'll find the answer to that out off camera, because I still haven't got a point this season when you guys haven't been watching as my lucky charm. And we've only lost 1 game on camera, which is remarkable when you consider all the ones I've watched aside. What we're going to do though is probably come back towards the end of November, unless we have a big disaster in our next 3 games. If it goes back to normal and we lose them all and our job's under pressure, I'll probably show the Arsenal game and the next league one. If it looks like we're going to be sacked at any other point, I will obviously come back. If not, we'll go for a repeat of last year's playoff semi-final. Yes, for those just following along, we were in the playoffs last year in this division. We will be back for the Burnley game and maybe one of the ones either side. If you're looking forward to that and you did enjoy the relief of a first victory of the season, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the performances. Are the right things generally happening, or have I done something drastically wrong from last season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd really love to know if you've had Alex Scott in FM. How on earth have you got him to perform? Because I've not been more disappointed by a player for a very long time in Football Manager. If you want to stay up to date and find out how the next couple of months goes, whether we now push on and win a run of games, or are we going to fall apart again and go back into the relegation mix? Well, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. New episodes from this one every other day, as well as the Build a Nation on the days in between. That one is at the end of its 16th season, and we're having a very different time there. You can find that playlist in the eye above with the top 3s, the Twitch channel, and the championship predictions from our real life football podcast. Thank you for your support with all of those. For watching this one as always. We've got a win. I'm feeling optimistic again. Or will it come crashing down by the next one? I'll see you there to find out.